Let's pivot to last night. Not good for the NBA.
No.
Not good for the NBA. I know you were pulling for it. I know Adam Silver was pulling for it. Luka and
Edwards was not pulling for it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Edwards is one guy that was not pulling for it.
And I'm pulling for Anthony Edwards forever, by the way. Whenever he's playing for Team USA, whenever he's playing for whatever team he's playing, if it's going to be the Timberwolves for his entire career, which I think would be a very cool story, especially in this modern basketball world, I will be pulling for him. Luka, LeBron, though, exit. First round exit in 5 games. Obviously, there were some moments last night that are going to highlight Luka's inability to try on defense or inability to play defense, which is what Nico was mentioning whenever he decided to make this trade and since this trade has happened. When Luka gets traded to the Lakers, obviously Luka went to the finals last year with the Mavericks, and they don't make it to the finals, and they don't win a championship. It has been a full-on, this was a catastrophe for the Lakers this year. Going into the All-Star break before the trade happened or whatever, I don't think the Lakers were that good. They get Luka, all of a sudden expectations now are a championship. JJ Reddick is getting judged harshly because of how things are getting handled, even by Reggie Miller about production meetings, which I didn't know was a lot. I love Reggie. Reggie's done a lot for Indiana. I'm not saying anything, but I didn't know that was like how your guys' sport works. Ours doesn't work like that. But with that being said, Lakers being out, is this considered a massive failure by all parties? And what happens in the offseason now going forward?
I think everyone expected. I mean, everyone was predicting, right, the Lakers to win. Like from a media perspective, I guess you think about fan perspective, and Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves organization. I remember talking to people in Minnesota before the series started, and they're like, "Why is everyone picking the Lakers? We literally had one less win than them, right?" And you think about the seedings that went on in the Western Conference between 2 or about 3 and 8. It really just jumbled up. There was one game separating them. So even though the Lakers were the 3 seed, Minnesota was the 6th seed, there wasn't much difference in this team. I think what we saw here was you have to give, first of all, Anthony Edwards a lot of credit. I don't know if Dragon Slayer is the right term. You think about who he's beaten the last couple of years in the playoffs: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic now this year. He's taken it to some big name players in this league, and at such a young age. And when I talk to people in Minnesota, they talk about someone, even though he might not have the best shooting night sometimes, he's emerged as a leader of this team, and he's emerged as the guy that when the going gets tough, you can rely on him. And this team got a lot of flack during the season, and Julius Randle took a lot of it too, but he's looking like a great get for them. Rudy Gobert last night played amazing, so this is a real team. But when I look at it from the Lakers' perspective, Luka Doncic said last night he's still dealing with like exhaustion mentally, and he needs rest, and he needs that trade. It changed everything for him, for the Lakers, for the Mavericks, obviously, and I think we saw him. He's continuing to deal with that. I'm sure he's going to still need some time to deal with the closure, but this is a team that JJ Reddick has said it. Anthony Davis said it before he got traded. LeBron James has said it. Like, they needed a center, and they need a big man, and that's going to be their number one focus in the offseason, is going and finding a center. This is as simple as I can put it. The Timberwolves had Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Julius Randle at center. The Lakers had Jackson Hayes, and that's who they played at center in this series.
And if you think back, the Nuggets, Joker, like that has been the Lakers' kind of Achilles heel throughout this entire thing, which is why I assume AD said it before he got traded, and why I think we all would assume that this would end up happening for the Lakers, because LeBron's teams make moves, especially if LeBron thinks that it's something that is a necessity, right? So we assume that's going to happen with the Lakers. Who would be available?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little early on names. I mean, do you go the free agent route? Do you go the trade route? They do have some draft picks. The one thing the Lakers can say is they've got flexibility. They've got some contracts you can trade. They've got 2 or 3 first-round picks they can move. So they have an ability if they want to explore trades. But what player out there will make a difference? Obviously, they made the trade for Mark Williams, rescinded that. But that is going to be the number one focus for the Lakers, and JJ Reddick spoke to it after the game, before the game, like he can be better too. And whether it's inexperience, and you think about that game 4 when JJ Reddick played his entire group in the second half, that was clearly a gamble that he made. And I think some of the players on the team could have also looked at it and said, we probably needed a breather there, but the coach rode with us and he kept us in there. If JJ Reddick could do it over again, he probably makes a sub in the second half. But again, that's the part of being a first-time head coach. he showed a lot of signs of being a really, really good coach in the NBA.
I appreciate that. He also isn't just a cookie cutter press conference. You know, it was a big stir whenever he gave the answer he gave about consulting with his assistant coaches, because the way he took the question was, so you think I'm an idiot? You think I'm an absolute idiot is what I'm hearing. And then, you know, JJ Reddick, from the stories we've heard about how ultra competitive he is, inside his brain, he starts going, this guy thinks he knows basketball more than I do, this person. So that probably gives him a little bit of, I'm just assuming as this person is indicating that JJ doesn't know ball is how JJ Reddick is going to take it. JJ doesn't know how to do his job. There's people that are on his bench that know how to do his job better than him, maybe. That is how JJ takes that question. I'm not saying that's how the question was meant. Feels like probably was. But if it wasn't meant that way, I think that is how JJ takes it. Then JJ gives the answer. So you don't think I consult with my assistant coaches every single time we have a timeout? And then he basically ends his press conference at that moment, walks out. So then he stormed out, he's this. Then Reggie Miller said he was acting immature or something like that. And
do we have that clip of Reggie Miller saying that? People keep saying that. I didn't hear it.
We do not have the clip either. Wendy is the one that reported it on Get Up this morning. It's like, I love JJ Reddick. He was good to us. We had him on the show. He was very nice to us. I like he's a former player that's running this thing. I like that he was getting absolutely murdered whenever he was hired. Like, this could have been his dream job to be an NBA, to be a coach. When he got hired, it was just a murder scene. Then he gets the team good, gets the team playing well. Obviously, they make a massive trade for a great player, and he continues to just not act like a cookie cutter person that they want him to act. So I appreciate that. Do you think there is going to be a change in JJ Reddick, though, the way he acts? Do you think they're going to put the clamps on him and tell him he's going to have to act differently? I don't know how the NBA works. Will Adam Silver say, hey, can't have you just telling reporters they're doofuses basically whenever you do this. Can't have you doing this. Or will they let JJ continue to be JJ? And is everybody excited about the possibilities of JJ being actually a potentially a good coach as opposed to how he's being painted right now?
Anyone that knows JJ Reddick knows he will only be himself at all times. There's no really adjusting with him from a personality perspective. But what I will say is, and he's spoken to it, this was his first year as a head coach in the NBA. He's a rookie head coach. So any person that starts anything, whether when you first started out, when I first started out, we're different from our first day, our first year, to when we develop, as we get lessons, as we continue to grow. And I think what we're going to see from JJ Reddick in the offseason, next season, the years to come, is a refined version of how he is. Now, you're never going to get rid of that grit that he has. You're never going to get rid of that edge. You're never going to get rid of that. LeBron, this is in LeBron James' words, and I think this is what he said. He said JJ Reddick is a dickhead. This is literally what LeBron James said. So I didn't say it. Yeah. I promise I didn't say it.
No, he said it right here. He said it right here.
Thank you. Yeah, he said it on PMS. So he said it. So everyone knows around the NBA what JJ Reddick is like. Now, what you can refine is some of the things you learn in games. And then there were some stories, him breaking clipboards during training camp and during the early, parts of practice. And those are things that over time, how do you channel that in the best way? And I think everyone around the NBA
maybe he does it forever.
JJ Reddick is a coach, and he might be breaking clipboards every single year. But at the end of the day, it's about, do you get buy-in from your players? Do your players understand where you're coming from? Do your players respond to what you're teaching? There's never going to be a commissioner call we need JJ Reddick to change. There's never going to be anyone in that Lakers organization telling JJ Reddick, we need you. JJ Reddick is JJ Reddick. But how can you refine? And I think there's a lot of confidence in that organization around the NBA. A lot of people are high on JJ Reddick.
I would assume his coaching style is going to remain the same, but I assume just because he's not going to want to have to deal with the bullshit. Having them attack him for being immature and everything, he's probably going to be like, okay, it would be nice. It might be nice if that's not in my life going forward. So might change the way he does deal with press. And I'd like to say we're going to call him boring. If he gets to a boring point, I'm not going to be happy about us changing him, okay? I'm not going to be happy about getting boring answers out of JJ Reddick. Hopefully that never takes place. But, hey, good luck, JJ. It was your first year. You're going to be judged off the success you have. First round exit, first year.
Yikes.
You know, that's
Well, it's the Lakers' job too, though, and the Lakers' job is judged by championships or bust, especially when you have Luka Doncic
and
the guy that we haven't even spoken about yet, LeBron James, and that's the other big elephant in the room for the Lakers.
Yeah, what is it? He's playing, right? What is the elephant in the room?
I mean, for sure. How long is LeBron James going to play? There's no expectation for LeBron James to retire. I will say that. My understanding is he will play at least another NBA season. You think about next year, 2025, 26. It'll be year 23. That would set a league record. Year 23 for number 23. The All-Star game is in Los Angeles. He's potentially playing in Los Angeles. There's a lot of stars that would align for next season, potentially, if that's what LeBron James decides. He'd be 41 years old in December. He's 40 years old right now. So the expectation is he's going to be playing at least another season. But again, how long? And the other thing, Pat, is does the Bryce James, his son, does that factor play into it at all? His son is going to be potentially draft eligible in 2026 next year. So if he feels at some point next year Bryce James might be an NBA player, might be a draft eligible player, does he extend that window? I think that's the only potential caveat that you think of out there that could keep LeBron James even longer than at least one more year. But we saw his answer last night. He was very non-committal. And every time a Lakers season, or really a Cavs season in the past, a Miami Heat season in the past has ended, since he's been like 25, 26, what he's been saying is, I'm going to take time with my family, I'm going to talk to my advisors, my support system, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a decision on where I'm going to land at. Before it was about free agency. Before it was about where he's going to end up. Now it's about, is he going to play anymore and how long he's going to play. Either way, him coming back to the Lakers, there's going to be a lot of questions. He's got a $54 million player option. So what do you do there? Do you opt in? Do you opt out? My feel is that he probably opts into that. And then from there, it's like, what does the Lakers roster look like? Because this was a LeBron James at 40 years old that was playing games and playing significant minutes as a center. And I don't expect that to be in his future, to be playing the center position at 41 years old. This is not sustainable for LeBron James at this point in his career.
Okay, player option in, $39 million. Not going to be playing center. You said potentially playing
$54 million. You just took 15.
I didn't mean that. Sorry, I misheard. That's on me. For $54 million player opt-in option. You said potentially play, potential All-Star game, potentially playing in LA. If he plays again, he's definitely playing in Los Angeles. That's definitely the case.
He hasn't indicated anything otherwise.
Okay, cool.
I mean, to leave Los Angeles at this point in his life and his career,
Sweet.
I mean, I guess you'd never say never. You'd never say never, but all the indications would be that's where he would retire. He said it publicly. That's where he would want to retire.
Okay, and I very much understand him. Maybe at the age of 40, as soon as the season ends, and you're devastated and bummed, and everybody's talking shit on you, that you just want to think about, do I want to sign up for this again? The answer is probably yes. I don't think he's ever said anything, whenever asked directly about it from us or anybody else that doesn't sound like he's not going to play next year. But at that age, with how many minutes he played, with how it ended, I don't blame somebody just for a second being like, do I want to sign up for this again? Just for, I don't know, a day, a week, maybe. It happens in our sport. I'm happy to see that LeBron's going to take time to fully commit yet again, and we're excited to watch him. And Bryce James might be the one. Not that Bronny isn't. Bronny obviously ended up having some minutes with the Lakers, and he's much better at basketball now than he was at the beginning of the season. They hope for that to continue, but it's like Bryce is big, tall, fast, and strong. Okay, we appreciate all that news. We have a rapid-fire situation here because we do have a guest lined up in like a minute and a half, and he could beat up all of us, so we don't want to do that.